everybody, to the Be Kind and Rewind with Ruckus, nostalgia twist on pro wrestling, where we bring on pro wrestlers, athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, notable personalities to talk all things movies, toys, and games. I'm your host, Mikey Ruckus, and to my right is my co-host, Keeping It Will. Very special guest that we're bringing on this week. Joining us tonight is podcast and media extraordinaire, Mr. Jon Alba. Jon, how you doing?
Bro, I am so excited for this because my friend group is best described as incredibly niche and dangerously self-aware. And I feel like that fits very well with Be Kind and Rewind when it comes to nostalgia content. So I cannot wait because we are going to talk about two of my all-time favorite movies on this episode.
Absolutely. Love it, man. Love it. Will, how are you feeling this week, by the way?
So we're just going to go ahead and get this out of the way, okay? I don't ever mark out, but I'm going to do it tonight. Alba, I am so excited to have you on because I listen to you twice a week. Every week,
sorry.
Religiously, right, on ad-free shows. And I love your podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and be that guy right now and say that. That's why Ruckus asked, because he knew how excited I was to have you on here. So thank you so much for doing this.
I really appreciate that. I'm really excited to be part of this. I appreciate you listening. And, you know, Mikey, I mean, you know how big of a fan of your work I am. And to get a chance to do this with you guys is super, super cool. So let's have some fun.
What work do you do that he's talking about?
I'm a SoundCloud rapper.
That's what I thought. I figured that.
Yo, listen, real talk. When Matt Hardy hangs up the boots, I guarantee you he becomes a SoundCloud rapper. so you next time you see him, Ruckus, hit him up about that.
I've heard some rumblings.
He'll be down.
Awesome.
That is amazing. Well, that brings us to the movie review of 2008, Ruckus. And Alba chose a movie that's near and dear, obviously, to my heart. And I couldn't be more excited to talk about this movie. So we'll start with 2008's The Dark Knight. So what are your initial thoughts on it?
My initial thoughts are it's a staple in my life for many reasons. Not so much the actual release itself. I was a multi-unit manager for Blockbuster when this dropped on DVD. And it was by far one of the biggest releases that I had ever been a part of on the home video front. But not only that, Hans Zimmer single-handedly changed the way action films were scored with this movie. And it's been hugely influential in my approach to writing theme music today. So I love everything about the story itself. And I know there's always debate, but Christian Bale is my favorite Batman of all the Batmans.
Well, we'll get into that. So, Alba, you chose this movie. What were your initial thoughts on choosing it, and what does it mean to you?
So, as far as my life is concerned, Will, there are two planes of existence. There is life before the Dark Knight and life after the Dark Knight. This was a transformative movie-going experience in my life. I went to the midnight because I'm a big Batman guy too, and I really enjoyed Batman Begins, and I really like it a lot. But just seeing the trailers for the Dark Knight, I was like, this is going to be a special movie.
Yeah. And
you knew it just was. And then obviously everything that happened with Heath Ledger leading up to it, you were like, man, this is going to take it over the top. The early hype was, this is a game-changing movie. So I went to the midnight premiere, and it was one of the most memorable nights of my entire life for a variety of reasons. And I'm sure we can dig into it over the course of this podcast. But I'd say I've probably seen this movie well over 100 times in my life. It's a commitment. It's a long movie, but it is just a comfort movie for me. Combined with some of the greatest scenes I've ever seen. And Mikey, you hit it dead on. I mean, Hans Zimmer, his score is basically its own character in this movie.
Absolutely.
And it elevates, I can think of 5 scenes right off the top of my head that are elevated just by the score alone. So this is, in my opinion, one of the greatest movies ever made, and it's my favorite film of all time.
It is number 3 on IMDb's top 250. It is considered, some would say, the greatest comic book / superhero movie ever made. I obviously love the movie, and I remember it was very special for me as well going to see it. I thought Heath Ledger did an amazing job as a Joker, but even so, I thought that Aaron Eckhart totally nailed Two-Face, right? And that scene with them two together in the hospital where Aaron Eckhart's coming to, and Heath Ledger's is like, hi. like I love that. Like the way they correspond with each other, I thought was great.
Wait, Will, my favorite part about that scene,
please.
It's like very clearly the Joker in a nurse costume, and Harvey doesn't realize it until he takes the mask off. He just takes the medical mask that's covering his mouth off, and he's just like, he goes right after it.
No, not you. You know, I think that obviously it's the cinematography of this movie is just phenomenal, right? The way they set the scenes up. Every time we go to Chicago, we tend to try to go to some place where they filmed that. As a matter of fact, me and Ruckus ate at the Twin Anchors, I think is what it was called.
Twin Anchors.
That's where they filmed the bar scene when Two-Face flips the coin and kills the detective. The cop that turned
he kills Wirtz. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, I will be honest with you. We talk about how great this movie is, and I don't want to jump into another movie, but the whole series for me was very, very well put together. I think it set the bar for so many things, and I think it actually hurt later Batman movies because the bar was set so high and done so well. I was a big fan. I was almost going to dress up as Bane tonight since it's almost Halloween and talk about how The Dark Knight Rises, which was much better than this movie.
Interesting.
And I was going to do it in the Bane voice, but work caught up to me, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm from the school of, while I love this movie, I actually like The Dark Knight Rises even better. And for many reasons.
I love The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, I love all three of these movies. And for me, like, in terms of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in a movie, like 1A is the interrogation scene between Batman and the Joker here, and 1B would be the sewer fight between Batman and Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, which I have that entire scene memorized. I could rattle that thing off for you word by word. I think where one of the faults in a lot of Christopher Nolan movies is that he tries to jam just a little too much in because he's got these great, amazing ideas. And I think there's an argument to be made that with The Dark Knight, the final 10 to 12 minutes of the film, you could argue maybe don't even need to be there and could have been in the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises. But I think the Dark Knight Rises kind of suffers from that too, where you have Miranda Tate thrown in, and there's just some of these periphery characters that you're like, maybe is it overstuffing it too much? And I mean, Ruckus, you know, man, sometimes like in the world of wrestling too, and music especially, sometimes less is more.
Yeah,
and that's something that I really do believe in.
Agreed. And it's crazy because it's exactly like you said. You have an idea and a vision of what you want to get in there, and you're afraid if you cut even this one part out, as a director or somebody that's creating, they think you're just leaving a hole, or it's not the entirety of the movie. You know what I mean? And to a viewer that's following the story, they see it from a completely different lens than the actual director does. So agree with you on that 100%.
So Ruckus, you stated earlier that Christian Bale is your favorite Batman. So, John, I'm going to ask you, and I think I already know the answer to this. Was Christian Bale your favorite Batman as well?
Yeah, I think Christian Bale is my Batman. But with that said, I really did enjoy the Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman, quite a bit. And while I'm not convinced that he's a great Bruce Wayne just yet, there's still some more movies to be seen, so we'll see how that unfolds. I thought he nailed some of the early elements of Batman. And Will, I know you're a big Batman guy, so you could speak more to that than even I probably could. But what would be the unpolished aggression that he showed in that early stage of Batman, I thought he did very well. But for me, Christian Bale like nailed Bruce Wayne, what Bruce Wayne should be, that playboy with the swagger. And I remember the meme at the time when this movie came out, if memes even existed, was that maybe Christian Bale overdid the Batman voice a little bit in The Dark Knight. And maybe the voice is a little too growly.
Of course. You know it's too growly when he's trying to do a monologue and he's got to take a breath after every 2-3 words.
I remember when he says to the Joker at the end of the movie, he says, "You'll be in a battered hell forever." And I'm like, it took me a good 2 months of rewatching it to be like, what did he say there? And I was like, oh, you'll be in a padded cell forever. That's what he said. I was like,
closed caption won't even pick it up. It was like, I don't
you'll
know
be in a vat of Jello forever. What? What?
Closed caption will have ...
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a big fan, obviously, of all the movies, and I'm a big fan of all the Batmans. I think for me, I've always looked at Batman as somebody that's gritty, that's dark, that has faults, right? That as he got older became more jaded, and that's how I actually looked at Ben Affleck's Batman as my favorite Batman in that thing. He's drinking wine, he's taking pills, he's hurting. I think he did a great older Bruce Wayne that was more I think the detective part was pretty decent in it, even though the new Pattinson Batman, I think, did a really good job with that as well. But if we go back, because this movie was a really big movie based on the Joker and Batman, right? But the thing that always bothered me with both movies that had the Joker in them to this date was that that was a very psychologically abusive relationship mentally for both of those guys on each other.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily want to hurt each other. Almost, you could tell, or it was a cat and mouse game that they always played. There was emotion involved between these two characters, right? Especially in the comics. And if you look at it, both movies, there was never that bond there. That was never there. That psychological of we have to chase each other, or I have to get you and put you away.
I'll disagree with that a little bit. I'll push back on that because I can think of two distinct scenes in this movie where, it's very much, especially on the Joker's end, where in the interrogation scene, Batman says, so why do you want to kill me? And the Joker laughs. He says, I don't want to kill you. You complete me. To them, you're just a freak like me.
Right.
And so he's pushing back on that notion there. And then at the end of the movie, when he's got him hung up upside down, and he's saying, I think you and I are destined to do this forever. So I do see that dynamic.
But then they killed him right after that. So
they didn't kill him. He didn't die.
He fell, right?
No, he didn't die. He falls off the building, and then Batman catches him and hangs him upside down. And then the police come and get him. He didn't die.
Yeah, I thought they had it where he died at the end.
Nope.
Jack Nicholson died at the end.
In Batman 89,
I should hold on.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at it, it's still though when you talk about the actual. I want to make sure I say this right. Wait. So go back and look at the Batman and Jared Leto.
Right? Do I have to?
Yeah. Let me tell you,
that's Will's favorite Joker.
Yeah. Did you see the Nolan? Did you see the Nolan? Not the Nolan.
Time out.
Did you see the
I know what you're going to
Snyder
ask me, Will. You're going to ask me about the Snyder Cut.
Did you see the end scene of that?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
but hold on.
Tell me
Before
what
I
you thought
answer
about that. Yeah.
Is Leto for real your favorite Joker?
No.
Oh, thank God.
You a damn lie.
You had me going there. I was about to walk off this podcast.
It is just my favorite Joker Batman conflict scene with each other because there was passionate hate in there with each other.
You're talking about the nightmare scene at the end of the Snyder Cut?
Yes, because you got to think about it. He killed Robin, right?
Yeah.
And
Harley died in Batman's arms.
Yeah. It just he's like, and he goes, and I kill you, and make no mistakes, I will bleep and kill you, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my, I always look for that passion.
I like the way you switched that up.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to cuss.
No, I'm not even talking about that. About the fact that Jared Leto is your favorite Joker.
Jared Leto.
Well, he's not my. He's my favorite, but he's not my favorite. He's just
So if I'm being honest with you, come to the Joker with telling the story through the comics. I think that they did a better job as a Batman fan with Leto and Affleck. I do. I think if you look at
it was one scene.
No. Well, just even telling the story up there and the way they were with each other. I honestly thought, and I get hate for this, I honestly thought that Affleck and Leto did a better job of telling that. I did. And people are going to hate me for it.
If I'm talking if you want to look into the dynamic of Batman and the Joker on screen, and I don't know if either, I'm sure you have, but I would say the Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill animated, like with Mask of the Phantasm, like that, the Batman, the animated series, I would say that is like the definitive Batman Joker on film in terms of getting their dynamic together. Now it's animated, but still, we're talking early 90s stuff here. And I think I mean, Mark Hamill is just one of the greatest voice actors ever. So,
Sure.
I would say that, but listen, I'm open to opinion. I respect.
Yeah, you know, and I get a lot of hate, but you know, and I think it's because this one was so unique. I mean, it was the first superhero movie to do $1 billion. Talking about The Dark Knight, right? It was the first major, like, oh my lord, this is what we are capable of doing. And I think it just so many people saw it, it became their Batman, it became their Joker, right? And then losing Heath Ledger afterwards is like, it was stamped. And you know, when we talk about it, like it could never go, they could never go back to that and build that. And I think for me, that's kind of what I lost in that, right? That continuing saga. Whereas you look at this one, there were multiple films of Affleck and Leto going after each other, you know, or having ties. And I was a big fan of that. You know, I don't know if you saw the comic book part 1 and 2 of the Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's very similar to that, right? Yeah. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen that, Ruckus, I would highly recommend it. It is great.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So
can I ask you guys, because this is the biggest thing that comes to my mind when I think of The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that this movie sits fine on its own outside of being in a trilogy? Like, could you watch The Dark Knight not having watched Batman Begins, not watching The Dark Knight Rises, and still think that's a masterpiece?
And that's where I say that to me, it's almost like a standalone movie, adverse to a good trilogy that runs together, right? I mean, we only had one, you know, we had Cillian Murphy playing the Scarecrow, who ran through all 3 movies, right? But yeah, I absolutely, because the if you look at it, the enemy in each one of these movies was bigger, larger than life. That's what made it to me like they're standalone movies together. So I would agree. It could have been made just as one movie, and it would have been a massive hit, because I don't think they tie in each other that well. They do, but they don't. If that I
think Batman Begins ties in The Dark Knight Rises better than The Dark Knight does.
Yes,
and I think that there's a lot of thematic elements there. Like, I don't know, Ruckus. Like, for me, I'm watching The Dark Knight, and I see that opening scene with the bank heist, and you've got the music playing from Hans Zimmer, where it's just perfectly accompanying underneath it.
Yes.
And you watch that scene in a bubble. It's a 5-minute prologue, essentially. It's a crime movie. It's not a comic book movie. It's a crime movie. And the music aids that and gives you that feel more than anything else.
Absolutely. And I always looked at The Dark Knight as a crime movie. And I didn't think, even though you had your superhero dressed up in his costume, and then you had the supervillain and all this stuff like that, I never looked at it that way. And I didn't realize even until just this moment that it was the music that made me believe that. You think about the emotion, and it's funny how Will said he gets hate for some of his views. I actually got hate from some people in the film industry, composers and other directors, when I said that same statement, that action movie composing changed after The Dark Knight. And I remember specifically a director kind of tweeting at me saying, "Right, bro, like everybody's trying to sound like Batman," and he blocked me.
But they are.
It was.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You're going to do it off the air.
No, I'm not. I'll tell you who it was after this. But
think about, like, when the Joker is doing his monologues where he's about to either kill someone or hurt them. You know how I got these scars, and you slowly hear the strings starting to get more tense and tense and tense and tense. I said it earlier, but I stand by it. It's another character in the film.
Yeah, and his entire approach to the recording process was completely ahead of its time when it happened. And I took a Hans Zimmer masterclass shortly after that, because he broke it down over like 35 episodes of just a master. I paid for the masterclass to see the different things that he did when recording that string, or the different objects that he was banging on trash cans. Like, he made that stuff acceptable, where you could take a trash can, you bang on it, and do the frequency manipulation to the point to where it doesn't sound like somebody banging on a trash can. It sounds like you're in a psych ward. You know what I mean? Like, these are natural sounds that he created, to the point to where he's got full blown programs that mimic everything that he does. He's got his own licensed programs that he does, but everything up to that point, the action strings, now you've got programs where you can hit one key and it literally plays the string riffs from The Dark Knight. And, you know, they're not the exact same ones, but those riffs are kind of like commonplace now. And having that play with the long chords that really round out the bottom end frequencies, like that whole like progression, and the way he builds on it, from just the simple during the heist to the main. I think it was when Batman first like jumped out from the skyscraper and his wings open up and then you hear the music again, like full glory at that point. You know what I mean? And
I'm marking out listening to you just talk about this, 'cause like that. But that is the secret sauce of this movie, right? Like that is what makes this movie so special. And just even thinking about those small things and trying to take myself back to that opening night and reliving that, and that feeling that you had watching that, and the legit shock or the awe. And it's a great movie about the human spirit and testing the human spirit, because like the Joker's whole ideology is that when people are pushed to their breaking point, they will break and they will turn on each other. And Batman is this purveyor of good, and he believes that there is good in people no matter what, and they will shine through. And you want to believe that, right? But there are so many times in life where we're just like, yeah, I don't know if that's actually true. And
until people become older, right? And then like the older Bruce Wayne in the other movies, you look at it, he's completely just I hate jaded. People. I hate people.
Yeah.
Do I really want to save these people?
I want to tell a story. It's so funny. I told Mikey this off camera, but at the opening night premiere, you know, you got the most diehard of diehard fans there. And in this movie, Maggie Gyllenhaal replaced Katie Holmes from Batman Begins as Rachel. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you guys felt. I'm sure Maggie Gyllenhaal is a lovely woman and she is a good actress. I did not think she fit this role very well at all. Same. And I think Christopher Nolan's weakest point in all of his movies is romantic dialogue. I think he's actually really bad at romantic dialogue. And when she was blown to bits, spoiler alert, everyone, when she is blown to bits, 85% of my theater erupted in cheer. And it's supposed to be this big emotional moment where you're like, oh my God, she's dead. She's the emotional connection between Batman and Two-Face, and she's dead. And everyone was like, she gone. Like that's it.
It's okay, Harvey. It's okay. It's okay. I just want you to know. Boom, done.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan, but I also wasn't a big fan of Katie Holmes in the first one either. I would go one deeper, say maybe his just choice of casting and what he's looking for doesn't really seem to fit. Right.
It's so funny you say that though, Will, because it's like he misses there, but then you have Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman. You convince them to be in a comic book series.
Yeah.
And for me, Michael Caine is like the emotional arc of the entire trilogy.
Agreed.
He is the perfect guy to lean on when you need the emotional moments. And his dialogue with Bruce in this movie, where they talk about the bandit taking the ruby.
Size of a tangerine.
The size of a tangerine. Like, that's one of the most important elements of the movie. Some men just want to watch the world burn. How many times have we heard that theme throughout real life, right?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But as we start closing down on this movie, I got to ask you a question real quick, because we kind of touched in the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. So do you think, with Heath Ledger doing such an amazing job, do you think that actually hurt how Tom Hardy was perceived as Bane? Because I thought he did such an amazing job as Bane, especially in his monologues, like the one outside the prison. That I tear up every time I watch that one. I do. So do you think that hurt Tom Hardy and how he was perceived, or how he was welcomed in that role?
I do love that Blackgate prison scene. That's a great scene. We take this city from the corrupt and we give it back to you, the people. Gotham is yours.
I just think of it in terms of, like, if I'm there and I'm listening to Bane speak and that's like, and I'm like, what? What?
Well,
Wait, say that again.
What this fucker say?
My favorite thing is they've got like all these journalists and TV cameras just broadcasting this madman's speech like uninterrupted, unvetted, nothing. They're just showing it to everyone. Do I think it hurt his reception? You're saying, like how people received him?
How people received him?
I don't know. I feel like people were pretty receptive. Maybe at first they were a little critical, but I feel like people look back pretty fondly on his portrayal of Bane, and it left an impression. I mean, he is brutal in it, and he's tactical, he's intelligent. I think they maybe undermined him a bit when they tried to do the whole swerve bro, where it's like he's not actually the villain, and there's a bigger villain who you don't really care all that much about.
That was pretty bad.
Maybe that was a undermining step in him, but I don't know. I mean, how do you guys feel? I really like the Bane portrayal, and I never was particularly critical of it.
I don't think people were, I don't say critical, but it wasn't. I think that they were very equal of great performances.
Very different performances.
But equal in what they did for that movie, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I loved that so much was that it was kind of like the breakdown of society, right? And he was able to do that. And he was basically getting away with it. These people are left. They're like, we got to fight for ourselves, right? We're done. Yeah. But I thought that it was very, to me, real. Like that could happen, minus the city being blocked off and the military not going in and just blowing them up. But I thought that, especially his monologues and the way he delivered his lines was very, 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 very touching in a lot of ways.
Well, it's like the Joker was Batman's emotional and mental breaking point, and Bane was his physical breaking point.
But did he break him mentally as well? Because he even said, I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he definitely, that was a big part of it for him. But the theme is introduced very early in The Dark Knight Rises that this Bruce Wayne is a physically weaker one. Remember, he's walking with a cane. He takes a long time to get back into it. They say he doesn't even have like any cartilage in his knee. So like that is something they definitely were trying to own in on in that. Whereas in The Dark Knight, Batman hasn't been tested with a foe of that magnitude to that point. He's never met someone who is his equal. And the Joker is, I don't even say it's his equal, it's his equal and opposite reaction, right? And that's what makes that dynamic so special.
Manipulation. He manipulated Batman, I should say, by knowing that he's taking something special.
He did it for fun. He did it for fun. He did it just because he was bored.
Yes. And he knew how to get to him, right? Adverse to where even he says Batman says in The Dark Knight Rises to quote unquote Robin, if you're going to work alone, wear a mask. It's to protect the ones you love because of what happened with the Joker and Two-Face and Rachel.
Dude, I officiated a wedding last month, and I worked that into the officiant speech. I worked the mask. I was like, when we start in relationships, we all wear masks, and they're not to protect us; they're to protect those around us. But then, as our relationships go on, we start to lose those masks because we come. I was like, did I just incorporate Batman into this?
I would have put Jim Carrey in there. We all wear masks. Figuratively speaking.
There you go.
Can I ask you something? So, Ruckus, as we start putting a bow tie in this, any final thoughts?
I remember that this had a DVD release that was fairly quick for the time. Usually movies that were released, they wouldn't see a DVD release for almost a year. This one dropped in December. The movie came out in July. The DVD release was in December. And I can specifically remember people calling me saying, do y'all got the Black Knight? And I was like, you mean the Dark Knight? Yeah, the Batman one.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the only Batman movie without Batman in the title, correct?
I believe so.
Like counting Mask of the Phantasm.
Well, The Dark Knight Rises.
True. Oh, yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a Dark Knight.
Those two.
So what did we have? We had Batman versus Superman. Was Justice League a Batman movie?
No.
Yeah. No. Did you like the director's cut? Did you like the Snyder's cut of Justice League?
I liked it more than the original. I mean, it was a more cohesive story, but the problem is with it, it had the benefit of hindsight. Like, it knew what was poorly received, so they're like, we're just gonna go back. And
Yeah.
Well, but they had that stuff though.
they
that
had
was
it, but
supposed to be original.
they did like $80 million of reshoots too.
Warner Brothers just
So-
you know what? Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Warner
No, we're
Brothers
not. We love Warner Brothers.
Yeah. God bless. God bless. Yes.
David
So-
Zaslav, my man.
Yeah. Justice League Volume 1, buy it on DVD at your local store. All right. So Alba, as we do every single week as we start transitioning out of this, we talk about the songs that come out that week. This movie was released in July 18th of 2008. And what we like to do is we like to go into the top 10 songs of that
I'm
week.
screwed.
Yeah. Now, normally I try to give you guys some confidence. Go, oh no, I've seen this. You're going to do fine. Trust me. This week, I'm just going to say it right now. Get the bleep button. Yeah, you're fucked. Okay, so you're not going to know any of these.
You know that old Vince McMahon gif where he's like, "That's me doing this segment." Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right. So we're going to go through it, and I just want to wish you both good luck right now. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, coming in at number 10.
Here we go.
None of these songs I've heard of. It sucks. Number 10, 7 Things by Miley Cyrus. This will be the worst edition we've ever done with this. All right.
I don't know that one.
Keep moving. Number 9, Busted Baby, Part 2, Plus featuring Neo.
Oh man.
I've got nothing.
I got nothing either. Now, in fairness, I had bars at this point. We had a jukebox. I don't know. Number 8, Ruckus. I know you're gonna know this one just from the band alone. All right, you ready? "Burning Up" by the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, hell yeah! I'm hot. Dude, one of the greatest concerts I've ever been to. Those concerts. I'm slipping into the bottom.
I don't remember this one. Shit.
I'm burning up, you baby.
All right, we
All
got
right.
We got a win so far.
Oh, dude.
Nice.
One of the Jonas Brothers concert is the only time I've ever questioned my sexuality. It was just. I heard Nick Jonas singing "Jealous" and I was like, I think I am jealous.
Oh, hey now. All right, number 7. You may or may not know this one, but it kind of ties into what we just went through. "Pocket Full of Sunshine," Natasha Bedingfield.
I got a pocket full of sunshine.
I know that one.
Take me away. Take me away.
Is that the name of that song?
Yeah.
It was in remember Easy A? She had the card and she kept opening it. Did you ever see Easy A?
No.
Easy A. Easy A. Watch it. It was actually good. All right. Number 7, "Forever Placed in My Head" from an episode of The Office. Are you an Office fan?
Huge Office fan.
Okay, you're gonna like this one. Number 6, "Forever" by Chris Brown.
Oh, that's when they're doing the
Wedding.
dance at the wedding.
Yes, I teared up. I teared up during that.
They're doing. That's the.
Damn it.
Forever.
I don't know the words, but yeah, they're doing. I know
Yeah. Because it was a viral.
Hey, Will, do that again.
Forever.
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay, thank you.
God, that seems like an eternity ago that Chris Brown was like still relevant in the music. That's wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stop.
I'm memeing the shit to you, by the way, Will.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It's okay.
Gif the hell out of that.
Yeah. All right, number 5, "Viva La Vida" by Coldplay.
That song was massive.
Which one is that?
Dun, 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 dun,
Da, da, da.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
All right. Do you know the words?
No, I don't know the words.
I don't know the words.
Number 4.
When I rule the world.
Yeah, there you go. We got it.
You gotta put some bullshit in. What are you doing? Number 4. I know this song because my one true love of life used to play this all the time in her car, and it is "Bleeding Love" by Leona Lewis.
Keep bleeding, keep bleeding love.
Oh, wow. God, I haven't heard that song in a long time. Wow. Boy. You know, like when those core memories are unlocked.
Yeah,
They're not
it's like
thinking about them.
Ching.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. Number 3. I was going to make a Jonas Brothers joke, but I'm just going to go past that. Lollipop by Lil Wayne featuring Static Major.
Shooting on the club. Bottle full of bub.
Who was it that did the remake? There was a rock band that did a remake.
Did Korn do it?
No. It was Incubus, right? Was it Incubus?
No, it wasn't Incubus.
It was a great thing. Number
They used
2.
they used a drum riff from My Hero, Foo Fighters' My Hero.
There goes my... See, that one we could do a whole Foo Fighters podcast if you want.
Number 2, I have no idea of this song, but it's fitting that she is in this because we had Chris Brown already. Take a Bow by Rihanna.
Rihanna. Okay.
Do you know that one?
No.
I know the Madonna Take a Bow.
You trying to do some League of Their Own?
Take a bow.
No, stop. Moving on. All right. Number 1. This was a massive hit. It is still sung to this day. Everybody knows this song. Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl.
I kissed a girl and I like it.
Oh, yeah. Come on now.
Wait a minute. I think I know the Take a Bow one. You look so dumb right now. Standing out in the crowd. Da, 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 da.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. Uh-huh. I think you're right.
Take a bow. Boom!
Boom. Boom.
Hey, I'm just happy I got my Jonas Brothers app.
You actually did very well. That
Bro.
one was a tough week, man. It's something about that mid 2000, like the 4 to maybe 10, like the pop music. It doesn't resonate.
No.
What happened, you think?
It's because we're older. We were in our age was transitioning at that time. We were still kind of stuck with the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, Alp was younger than we are.
Joe
right?
Bros still kind of, that hit. But
That hit, though.
yeah, I mean, 2008, I was 15. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was in that era, but my point was that
I'm a rocker. Like when Mikey and I did an interview one time, I broke out my guitar and we just played riffs during the interview. So like that's
So you can play guitar?
I'm half-ass ready to grab my guitar and start busting out some Joe Bros riffs right now.
We should have had you play them on guitar as you knew them.
There you go.
Next time we come back, have that guitar ready. 2008 also gave us some great stories in pop culture. Here's a fun fact. Britney Spears topped the chart that year with the song Womanizer, which happened to be her first #1 single since her debut single, Baby One More Time. 10 years in between #1s.
Wow.
Even though she was the biggest pop star in the world, it took her 10 years to hit another one. T.I. had the #1 selling album with the 6th album, Paper Trails. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, Poker Face came out with the video, which that kind of took the world by storm. Miley Cyrus celebrated her Sweet 16 that year at Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
We elected Barack Obama. Joe the Plumber became into existence.
That's right.
OJ was found guilty by a jury of 12 that included felony kidnapping, armed robbery in Las Vegas. I'm trying to think here.
You know what I think of 2008 was and Ruckus, this was probably on your radar. So like I'm a huge old school Weezer fan, like Blue Album, Pinkerton, that kind of stuff. 2008 is when they put out Pork and Beans, and Pork and Beans was when they had that music video that had all the YouTube celebrities in this, and like every single person who had ever been famous on YouTube to that point, which is only like a 2 or 3 year period. So I'm gonna do the things that I wanna do, ain't got a thing to prove. I think of that song all the time because my high school garage band played the crap out of that, and we would cover it like every single day that we'd practice.
Was that the album that Hash Pipe was on? Or was that a different album?
No.
Because my son always used to say, Dad, play Hash Browns.
Hash Pipe was on the Green album in 2001. 2008, that was Pork and Beans. That was Troublemaker. Yeah, I mean,
I'm a troublemaker.
I've never been a that. So sorry.
Nice.
Tangent 2008. That's what I think of.
Who is
incredibly
Hash Pipe?
niche and dangerously self-aware. So
what is Hash Pipe?
Dun, dun,
You
dun,
come
dun,
and
dun,
get
dun, dun, dun.
me.
Oh, oh. I can't
and get
let my
me.
fears
Out of control.
I know that man, I want
Okay.
you to know.
I got my hatch pipe. Dun, dun,
You want to
dun,
just do a
dun, dun,
karaoke
dun, dun, dun,
podcast,
dun,
Mikey?
dun,
I'm
dun,
down
dun.
with this.
Ooh.
As we close out 2008, we will end it with some of the pop culture. The Real Housewives of blank made its debut on Bravo. Let's see if you guys can guess that. The Real Housewives of blank made its debut on Bravo in 2008. What city do you think that was?
Atlanta.
I was gonna guess Atlanta, but
Both of you are correct. It is
Yeah,
Atlanta.
okay.
Nice job. Nice
Yeah.
job. Are you guys Real Housewives of anything fans?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I am, but like everyone around me loves the Real Housewives of New Jersey, so that's like a big thing around here.
I'm OC
I mean,
in Beverly
I grew
Hills.
up.
I love those.
I grew up with everyone asking me, "Oh, is Jersey really like Jersey Shore? Is everyone just like pumping their fists everywhere?" You know.
DTF, bro.
Yeah. The fact that those people are still relevant today is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
Hey, good for them. They
Yeah.
found the secret sauce.
They did.
Hey, did you ever see the movie Sausage Party?
of course.
The douche. Was that the epitome of Jerseyness?
Bro.
Bro.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Nick Kroll is like my favorite. I Big Mouth is my favorite show. So,
Love it.
anything Nick Kroll is a win for me, and him as the giant. Bro, what are you doing, bro?
This is some next level shit, bro. Have you seen Sausage Party, Ruckus?
I saw about half of it, and I had to shut it off because the kids kept coming into the room.
No, kids cannot be watching
Yeah.
Sausage Party. That is for sure.
No, go back and watch it. It is on Netflix again. It is absolutely amazing. Now, Alba, we sent you an email.
I'm sending it
What
to him
this
right
is-
now.
Okay.
Just sent it.
Don't open quite yet. What
Okay.
this is we feature a toy every week that should never have been made. Now, this is a real toy, and it's going to leave you kind of wondering about life as a whole, and you may even have nightmares. This
Okay.
might be the creepiest one that we have ever done.
Okay.
So we're gonna be quiet. We're gonna let you open email, and we're just gonna then you're gonna take it from there.
I can open it right now.
You can open it right now.
Let's see. No. Oh my.
By the way,
Oh my goodness. This is like a very short term toy. Like you could only use this toy like once. Because
It depends on. So to tell you what he's looking at, ladies and gentlemen, it is a ginger baby doll with hair around its ankles, pubic area, top of the arms right here, and a full head of ginger red hair. Now this is, I believe, Japanese,
it is Japanese.
and this was a toy. You can shave the baby toy. It's a real thing. You're supposed to be able to go in and shave
Oh my god.
the baby. It looks like a ginger werewolf.
It does.
It-
So like
That's extremely disturbing.
who is getting enjoyment out of it?
But it looks like the ankles grow back.
Was it just like a chia pet? Just add water and
It
the hair
looks
grows
like it.
back?
Yeah, maybe the arms grow back too. Chia.
Look, it even looks like it's got hair bumps, like from
Like razor burn?
ingrown. Yeah, like ingrown hairs and.
The problem was the doll was not meant to be a toy to begin with. It was meant as a piece of art.
It's social commentary, it says.
Yeah, but somebody said nope. We're gonna sell this as a doll, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh
You
my
can buy
goodness.
this thing as well on eBay.
It's got like Ronald McDonald hair / like it's like Ronald McDonald / Sherry Lewis from Lamb Chop.
Lucille Ball. It's like a Lucille Ball baby. Like,
Yeah, a little Lucille Ball too. Yeah.
Oh,
This
so
is mortifying.
with that being said, what was your favorite toy as a kid?
Not this.
Ah,
Man, my favorite toy as a kid. I am a Muppets mark. I am a
All right.
huge mark for the Muppets. I had a mini Kermit the Frog that I loved, and so much so. Hold on, bear with me here.
Yeah.
My
We're getting a visual aid. I love it.
well, so this wasn't a childhood toy, but I'm such a Muppet Mark that my friends got me when I graduated high school. My friends got me a Muppet. This is my buddy Malcolm. Most people don't know about my Muppet fandom, but I am a huge Muppet Mark. So
We're breaking news right here. Alba's a Muppet head.
oh yeah. This is Malcolm, named after my.
Does Malcolm have?
named after Malcolm Young of AC/DC fame, and because Malcolm Young is the reason I play music.
Now, does Malcolm have a monologue?
Like, does he have like a voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. What can he bring to the table here?
I don't know if I've ever given him a voice, but like if I were to look at him, I feel like he would sound like this, like a little Sean Connery-y, like I feel like there's something there.
You know what he reminds me of? Remember in Dumb and Dumber, the guy that was in the van when they did Mockingbird?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he kind of looks like him, doesn't he, Ruckus?
Yeah.
Like with black hair, right? That is amazing.
Yeah.
I hope that's not supposed to be you. Is it supposed to look like you?
No, it's not supposed to be me.
Okay.
Even though someone did get a customized photo of me as a Muppet, and that was a.
Can we get a copy of that so we can put that up here while we're doing this? Did we lose Alba?
Yes, and I'll pull it up on my tube. I'll send you an actual copy. I have it here. Yeah, that was I don't know. For me, there's something very wholesome about the Muppets. Plus, like the OG Muppet movie is one of the greatest movies of all time. I thought about picking that for this honestly because it is just one of the best. Here you go. Here's John Alba's Muppets.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Look, we're breaking everything, and I will agree.
Hair accurate.
The original Muppet movie, I think, holds true for all of it. I know it's very special for me as well.
Yeah.
And we got to have you back later down the road. We're gonna bring the Muppet. We'll do a Muppet special.
Oh yeah.
We haven't done that yet.
Opening song gets me every time.
Yeah, we'll have a
Rainbow
song.
Connection is one of the greatest songs ever written, man.
So the Muppets were did you have a specific Muppet toy that was your favorite as a kid?
I just had like a Kermit the Frog Muppet toy that I loved. I don't know. I'd say that's up there. And I loved sports, obviously. So like I just anything baseball I loved.
Any
like
toy
that.
you never got that you wanted as a kid, like it haunts you to this day.
Oh man. I mean, if it haunted me, I've probably suppressed it deep within my memory. Like not let the trauma affect me these years later.
For me, it was He-Man.
I know it's a good one. This is a good one. So I don't know if you guys remember back in like the late 90s, Razor scooters were super in.
Yeah.
Everyone had a Razor.
All of my kids bug for this.
They were super in. And I didn't have a Razor scooter. But my mom worked at Children's Place, and Children's Place had this like scooter dealer that they would sell at the store. They would sell scooters at the Children's Place.
We got Razor scooters at home.
I had like off-brand scooter while everyone else said the cool Razor skaters. I'm like, I want a Razor scooter, but I had the off-brand Children's Place scooter. So yeah, there you go.
You had the big Gillette one. You weren't getting the full thing. That is amazing.
No. It just. I had the WWE spinner belt. I didn't have big gold. That was my equivalent there.
Hey everyone, this is Mikey Ruckus here to tell you about a brand new segment coming to the BKRR Show, Beat the Ruckus, where you send in your nostalgia questions to see if I know them, which I probably don't. And if you beat the ruckus, you win a prize. You can send your questions into the email, thebkrrshow@gmail.com, with the subject line, Beat the Ruckus. Good luck.
Ruckus, tell us about the special moment that's about to occur.
The special moment that's about to occur is Wacky Table Reads. Guys, if you've followed us from the beginning, you know that we like to bring people on. We pull some of their favorite scenes from their favorite comedies, and we do complete cold scene reads. This week, John has picked two from The Naked Gun. Two fantastic scenes. Such a good movie. Amazing slapstick comedy. Just goofy all the way around. Fun 80s movie. So this first scene, I believe we go and visit Nordberg at the hospital. So
Yes.
give us a brief setup as to what's taking place and why we're going to the hospital.
Sure. So first off, I tweeted you about this like 7 months ago. I was like, I was like, dude, one day we're going to do the Naked Gun read on your show and it's going to be great. My two favorite movies of all time are The Dark Knight and The Naked Gun. So we're hitting my two right here. So in this scene, Nordberg, who is played by none other than O.J. Simpson, ironically, he is a cop. He's a detective, I should say, on Police Squad, and he is going to try and find this drug bust that's going on. He's trying to fill out a drug bust, and he gets shot like 45 times by this group of people, and it's like really comedic how they do it. He like backs into wet paint, and he's like, wet paint, like. So, like, eventually it's on a boat and he falls into the ocean and he somehow survives. And we visit him now in the hospital with his wife, who is beside herself, and our two fellow friends from the police squad as they are trying to figure out exactly what happened, Captain Ed Hockin and Lieutenant Frank Drebin.
Fantastic segue. And so narrating, playing the role of Nordberg, and Nordberg's wife, Wilma, will be keeping it Will.
Wilma and Will. Got it.
Wilma and Will. I'll be playing the role of Captain Ed Hockin, and Lieutenant Frank Drebin is played by Jon Alba. Now, as you guys know, which is always the case, John just got these scripts and the clips yesterday. We have not rehearsed anything. We're reading this for the first time, so whatever happens, happens.
I'm so excited about this because the brilliance of The Naked Gun is Leslie Nielsen's ability to be stone cold serious, talking about ridiculous things. So I'm so excited for this because I do not have that ability. I am going to break, and they're going to be great. So.
Dude, we break constantly, so it's all good.
All
right, here we go. The Naked Gun. Ed Hockin and Frank Drebin visiting Nordberg at the hospital. Keeping it Will, are you ready? Is that what was that? I only saw like 1/4 of your thumb. You got short thumbs, but I'll take it.
All right,
Jon Alba, Jon Alba, you ready?
I'm ready. And the scene starts with Frank and Ed in the car together.
Yes.
So that's where I will take it before we head to the hospital. So here we go. I will be playing the role of Lieutenant Frank Drebin. Here we go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, scene.
What about Nordberg? Came as soon as I heard.
He's alive, but on life support. Doctors say he's got a 50-50 chance of living, though there's only a 10% chance.
Frank and Ed arrive at the hospital and head to Nordberg's room. There, they are seen unconscious Nordberg and his wife, Wilma, sitting next to him at his hospital bed. A doctor is working on Nordberg as well.
Mrs. Nordberg, I think we can save your husband's arm. Where would you like it sent?
Oh, Frank, I'm so glad you came.
Wilma, it's good to see you. I came as soon as I heard.
Thank you, Frank.
Where's Nordberg?
He's right here.
Nordberg, it's Frank, your buddy.
Frank sits on Nordberg's bed and it completely folds in half, crushing and waking up Nordberg.
Throw them legs up, boy. Get it.
Frank opens up the bag back up and it shuts again, this time clutching his head in Nordberg's crotch.
Get the switch at the bottom of the bed. Nordberg, it's me, Frank. Now, who did this to you?
I love you.
I love you too, Nordberg. Who were they?
Ship. Boat.
That's right, Nordberg. A boat. When you're better, we'll go sailing together on a boat. We'll take a cruise just like last year.
No. Drugs.
Hey, nurse. Give this man some drugs. Quick, can't you see he's in pain?
No.
Give him a shot quickly.
No. Heroin. Heroin, Frank.
Nordberg, it's a pretty tall order. You're going to have to give me a couple of days on that one.
Nordberg falls out unconscious again while Wilma cries. Oh, my poor Nordberg. You're such a good man, Frank. He never wanted to hurt anyone. Who would do such a thing?
It's hard to tell.
A moving gang of thugs, a blackmailer, an angry husband, a gay lover.
Frank, get a hold of yourself.
A good cop, needlessly cut down by some cowardly hoodlums.
No way for a man to die.
You're right, Ed. A parachute not opening, that's a way to die. Getting caught in a combine, having your nuts bit off by a Laplander. That's the way I want to go.
Oh, this is terrible.
Don't worry, Wilma. Your husband is going to be all right. Just think positive. Never let a doubt enter your mind.
He's right, Wilma. Don't wait till the last minute to fill out those organ donor cards.
What I'm trying to say is that Wilma, as soon as Nordberg is better, he's welcome back at the police squad.
Unless he's a drooling vegetable, but that's only common sense.
Wilma, can you think of any reason why Nordberg was at the waterfront last night?
No, but I found this at home in a drawer.
A photograph. I love you out of Caracas, a Panamanian ship. Frank, when Nordberg said I love you, he was telling you the name of the ship.
I realize that now.
We better check this out.
I want every available man on it.
I can't spare anybody. We're in charge of security for Queen Elizabeth's visit.
Wilma, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest 1 minute until he's behind bars. Let's grab a bite to eat.
And see!
I'll tell you, I mean, you got to, if you haven't seen this scene, you have to go out of your way, too, because the pace in which they do it and the visual gags is just...
The deadpan delivery and the...
so fun.
I forget what part it was, but I broke. For one of y'all said something, and I was done. I was done.
When he says a gay lover, and then like that, and when the heroin gets me every time. That's a tall task, Norberg. You're gonna have to give me a few days on that one.
Yeah, that's what it was there. I was like, I'm done. All right. What we got next, Ruckus?
All right, the final scene is Ed and Frank going down to the docks where Nordberg was originally found. They're going to snoop around and try to get some clues and figure out just what the hell happened to him. And an interesting little scenario happens between Lieutenant Frank Drebin and the dock supervisor. Narrating and actually playing Captain Ed Hocken this time around will be Keeping It Will. I will be the security guard at the very beginning and then the dock supervisor. And Lieutenant Frank Drebin will be played by JON ALBA. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns before we begin?
This is a good one.
The Naked Gun, Scene 2. Down at the docks. Down at the boardwalk. Keeping It Will, are you ready?
I'm ready.
JON ALBA, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, scene.
Ed and Frank head down to the harbor looking for clues to the Nordberg incident. As they pull up to the dock, they bump an unsuspecting fisherman and knock him into the water. They clearly do not notice and continue about their activity.
The running gag in these movies is that Frank is a horrific driver and routinely causes chaos and just doesn't pay attention to it.
There seems to be a small crowd assembled as well, trying to get a glimpse at what's going on.
Ed and I drove down to the docks where Nordberg had been found floating face down in the water. In a case where there are no leads, you have to start somewhere, and that somewhere was the harbor area.
Please disperse. Please disperse. There's nothing for you to see here. Keep moving.
Where'd they find Nordberg, Ed?
Right out there, Frank. Do you want to take a dinghy?
No, I took care of that at the press conference. Doesn't make sense, you know? Good policeman, bright future, and something like this happens.
He was found by their night watchman. We better do some checking around. I'm going to talk to the harbor master.
I'll walk around the docks and take a snoop.
Frank walks over to the office shack on the pier and knocks on the door.
Yeah?
Lieutenant Drebin, police squad.
Oh, I remember you, Drebin. Well, what do you want?
Want to ask some questions. Are you familiar with that face?
Frank holds up a photo of Norberg.
I don't know. My memory ain't so great.
Oh, yeah? Maybe this will refresh your memory.
Frank hands the dock supervisor a $20 bill.
I don't know. Still kind of hazy.
How about this?
Frank hands him another 20.
Yeah, I remember him. I used to see him around. What do you want to know?
I can't tell you that.
Maybe this will help.
Supervisor hands Frank 20 back.
I really don't think I should.
Still don't think so?
He hands Frank back the other 20.
All right. His name is Norberg. He's a cop.
He's no cop. He was dealing H.
What?
I'm telling you, he was dirty.
Oh, you stupid scum. I ought to run you in right now.
All right. He worked at Lugwood Shipping. He tried to push something on one of my boys. I swear it. So what are you going to do about it, copper?
Why should I tell you?
Maybe this will help.
The dock supervisor hands Frank another 20.
I still don't think I should tell you.
Can you spot me a 20?
Frank hands it back to 20.
How about now?
He hands Frank back the same 20.
All right. I'm going to go down to Ludwig's office. I'll find out if you're telling the truth.
And scene!
This is one of those amazing visual gags in a movie where, like, really, if you're watching it, just the timing is so perfect. And the dock supervisor is Joe Grafisi, who is a fantastic character actor who's been in a million things. And, oh, man, what a great scene. I know when I sent that to you, Ruckus, you were dying watching that.
Yeah. It was great. And we're going to have that playing back and forth as it goes along. So that's going to be even cooler. So thank you for those. It was great.
Well, it was
Absolutely.
That was hard to hold on to.
That was a blast.
Now I wish I had $40, so, but, you know. All I can say, Jon Alba, this is your time. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing these days, anything you want them to know. The floor is yours.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. This was so much fun. I would do this again with, I got like 20 other movies that come to mind. So really appreciate you guys. I am a contributor and occasional host on SNY in New York City, covering all New York sports. So if you are in the New York City market, you want to talk some Jets, Giants, Yankees, Mets, Knicks, every other sport, you can find me there on Sports Night, Honda Sports Night at 11 o'clock on select weeknights and occasional weekends as well. I'm the host of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, Matt Hardy's podcast, which you can find wherever you find your podcasts. Host of Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff. You can get wherever you find your podcasts as well. And got a Patreon, wrestlingaccordingtoalba.com, where I do some really cool stuff in the wrestling world. We do tape studies with match breakdowns, super fun. And I also have the Alba Media School, where I work with people who aspire to have a career on air or in journalism or podcasting, whatever it may be, and try to work on their skill set. You can go to albamediaschool.com for that.
Fantastic. Man, you are crazy busy. And, dude, amazing time. Love talking about The Dark Knight, comparing the different ones. Love the scenes, the singing in the top 10, and all of those things. Listen, you are always welcome on the show. Whenever you have any ideas on any other scenes, just hit me up. We'll make time.
I appreciate that.
And we definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to hang with us for an hour. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jon Alba.